Tim, welcome to Toronto. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
No, you're welcome to talk about Whisky Tango Foxtrot. And I have to tell you, I mean, you know, look, I'm just, after watching this and then reading through your book, and I'm going, thank God I'm an entertainment journalist, because honestly, I don't think I could ever do what you did. What compelled you?
I mean, I'm a news journalist and I'm a news junkie, and I always want to go wherever the story is. So after 9/11, I mean, I think there were a lot of reporters who wanted to go to New York, and I was in Chicago at the time. And then, you know, I wanted to see if I could do Afghanistan and Pakistan. You know, and pretty much every time in my life where I've had a choice between two career options, you know, the safe one, the comfortable one, and the one that scares me more and is more challenging, I'm always going to go for the scarier one and see if I can actually do it.
So then you get there.
Yeah.
And what kind of shocked you or surprised you, or just how did you adapt?
I mean, everything. My first trip to Afghanistan, everything surprised me and everything shocked me. I mean, I got there, I get into in the movie they show this airport that seems really awful in Kabul. No, that looked great to me, because that was a luxury airport. When I arrived in Afghanistan in January 2002 for the first time, there were bombed out airplanes on the runway. There was nobody greeting us. We basically walked off this tiny little UN plane and into this dark hulking building that had no power in it.
Wow.
And you had these like militia soldiers all wearing different mismatched uniforms, hiked up to here around a table, sorting through all of your stuff. And I just had to go to the bathroom because I'd had 2 Diet Cokes.
Right.
On the plane, right? And I'm saying, where's the bathroom? They're saying, no. And I go into the bathroom, and it's basically, you know, it's covered in things that it shouldn't be covered in, and it's like landmines I'm stepping over. That's what I'm greeted with.
Right.
And then I realized I forgot my money. And there are no, you know, ATM machines in a war zone, obviously.
Wow, amazing experience.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you write the book.
Yeah.
And it gets into the hands of, you know, Tina Fey, Lorne Michaels, who are producing it, and then, of course, Tina plays you in this film.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that like?
I mean, surreal. I mean, it's like I go from like living over there and running around in hiking boots to, you know, being a print reporter back in the States, and now look at me. I'm coiffed,
right,
you know,
here.
I'm coiffed. I've got people who are following me around, and
it's good to have people, don't you think?
Yeah, I could use people in my real life. You know, I had
it,
people over in Afghanistan. I have no people anymore in real life. So, I mean, it's amazing. Tina's been really great to work with.
Yeah.
Everybody's been really kind to me, and I love the fact the movie is not, it seems in the trailers like it's this ha-ha movie.
Yeah,
and there are funny points, definitely, but it's also sad, and that's very much like my book, and I think it was just really true to the tone of my book and my experiences there, even though there's, you know, fictional stuff.
Well, of course, but how do you find humor in a situation like this?
I think everybody finds humor in a situation like this. I mean, Afghans certainly do.
Right.
You know, Pakistanis do. Journalists do. Cops do. Emergency room doctors do. I mean, when you're dealing with really awful stuff, I think that dark humor and black comedy is a coping mechanism.
Right.
And there's a long tradition of this in war journalism or war stories. You know, Catch-22 by Joseph Heller is an example. MASH is a great example.
Yep.
You know,
That's
so
true,
I think that there is a tradition of this, and you know, it's just the absurd things you saw over there. I didn't know that there was another way to tell the story other than through a dark comedy.
Was it weird reliving this and watching, you know, and how did Tina do as you?
Well, I mean, Tina did her own interpretation on the character, but I think folks are going to be really, I think it's her best role, and I'm not just saying that because she's playing me, right? But I think, you know, she shows that she's got a dramatic ability as well as her comedic skills, and I think she did a great job.
Yeah. Do you miss being a foreign correspondent?
Sure, every day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what do you miss most about it?
I mean, I miss the stories. I mean, I miss going into, you know, really life-changing stories, and I miss, like, covering what's happening in the world, most definitely.
Where do you think journalism is going these days?
I mean, I think that print journalism is having to sort itself out. It's like, you know, we're still dealing with what's happened with the internet and trying to get people to pay for news. I mean, you've seen this a lot with foreign correspondents, right? Mm-hmm. The job I used to have doesn't exist any longer.
Right.
Instead, you know, you don't have as many staff jobs overseas.
Yep.
Instead, you have this sort of sense that freelancers are going in and trying to tell these stories, which is dangerous.
Yeah, oh yeah. And also, you know, you don't need cameramen really anymore either. Like when it's TV or something, you just hold up your phone and, you know, and Skype it in or whatever, satellite it in. It's really interesting.
It is, and it's like, I hope, we need to find a way to pay for it. I mean, I think BuzzFeed is doing interesting things. I think that Vice is doing interesting things. But news is important, and what's happening in the world is important. And we need like folks who are actually on the ground to tell those stories.
Well, congratulations, great book, and
Thank you.
It's so wonderful to see your story being told on the big screen. And,
I know, and now it's got like, it's been reissued as a book with 100% more Tina Fey, right?
Right, with her on the cover? Do you know how rich you're going to be now?
I don't think, I don't see that as I'm a journalist, right? The writer never gets paid, but I do hope people go to see the movie and then read the book.
I hope so,
Or,
too.
maybe vice versa.